It is very unfortunate that since this government has come into office over the last 2 months, that the environment in the media is changing. We had a record where Sri Lanka went through a bad time. It was on the media freedom indexes fared poorly among 180 countries. We were about 160 out of 180 countries going back to the years 2013 and 14. And since our government took office, this improved tremendously. We climbed about 20 index points to about 140 in terms of media freedom. During that period, not a single journalist was murdered, went missing, was beaten and left on the streets. There were a couple of incidences during that period, and those incidences were actually traced to the then opposition, where when some reports were written about the performance of the Negombo Municipal Council, the mayor of the Negombo Municipal Council had threatened journalist Freddie Gamage, and 2 weeks later, right, he had been attacked. And naturally, people came to the conclusion that there may have been a connection between the work he had done and the attack that was carried on. But the government has never been accused in the past period. That situation has fast changed. As we have heard, there has been an incident where an employee of the Swiss embassy in Colombo has been forcibly taken and threatened, and a phone has been removed and data extracted. Probably the intention of finding out information about Sri Lankans who had applied for visas, obtained visas, and Sri Lankans who had left the country. Certainly, this is not the way forward. We would leave it to the authorities to investigate that case properly. But over the last 2 days, there has been a disturbing trend. The disturbing trend has been to connect that incident with prominent media personnel in this country. As we saw in the media, Mr. Krishanta Kure's name has been mentioned in those reports, and trying to link him to the incident in the Swiss embassy. Mr. Kure hails from a prominent Sri Lankan family and a prominent Sri Lankan media family. Mr. Kure has never been accused of any violation of the law, not even a traffic offense on the streets. Mr. Kure is known for his very forthright views and opinions. Whoever it may be, he has expressed those views and opinions fearlessly in the past. That is his nature. And now there is an attempt to link him and bring him in as well to this incident, which he has no connection with. There were media reports that Mr. Kure had engaged in conversations with the editor of the Sunday Observer, and that would only be natural because Mr. Krishanta Kure was chairman of the Lake House Group. And the Sunday Observer is one of the newspapers in the Lake House Group, and not seconds. Obviously, the chairman of the group must have had conversations with all his editors on various issues and topics, and that would only be natural. So to link him is basically a strategy to put fear into media personnel. And if you can threaten people at the highest realms of the media industry, then what is going to become of a journalist? This is the strategy. The strategy is not to murder, but to use fear as a tool of management, and to use fear to manage society. Therefore, this will not work. Sri Lankans must stand up for media freedom, and we will stand up for media freedom because it is an important pillar of a civilized society